This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Shalom Aleichem. Baruchim Abam on this fine Wednesday. What could be better to do on a Wednesday than to begin Yom Revi of the Orchos Chaim of the Rosh? V'zeh heicheli b'tzuras b'ezras tzuri v'goyali. Yom Revi. Ois nun gimel. Al tisrasha b'mitzvah in baliyadcha. Do not slacken off in a mitzvah if it comes your way. V'ta'asena l'shem shamayim. Below ichar. Do it for the sake of heaven without any delay. So the Orchos Chaim of the Rosh is saying, don't slacken off in doing a mitzvah. Do it for the sake of heaven without delay. Here's the question. I'm sure most of you are bothered by. He just said in Ois Mem Zayin, V'tiyeh zoriz lasos kol ma shemuto alecha lasos. Be energetic to do whatever you got to do. So why is he saying don't slacken off in a mitzvah? He already said even more, be a zoriz. So why does he have to say don't slacken off? Don't be misrashal. Now, one explanation could be, al tisrashal doesn't mean not to delay. Al tisrashal means don't do it apathetically, don't do it without energy. But then you could still ask, but he concludes below yichor, without delay. We already know that. He already said to do a mitzvah without delay. What is he adding over what he said in Ois Mem Zayin? And Rav Goldberg says a chidush here, and he says it in his Sefer Al Torah Shiras David on Parshas Vayakel. And when I had the zchus to visit the Rosh Yeshiva Erev Shabbos Kodesh Parshas Vayechi in Cleveland, Ohio, the Rosh Yeshiva told over to us this chidush. The Rosh Yeshiva said over this chidush to me. I was together with my good friend Reb Mordechai Zimberg and my son Yehuda, and my daughter, even, Leah, who heard the chidush of the Rosh Yeshiva. And basically it's like this. There's a big shaila in the Achronim. Actually, we have a piece on it in the Magid Rakia on Bereshis. What is greater, to do a mitzvah bezrizus or to do a hiddur mitzvah? Is it better to do a mitzvah right away or to delay a little bit and do it behiddur? Now the Trumas Hadeshen brought in Shulchan Aruch Archaim Siman Tav Chavav Siman Lamed Hey. The Trumas Hadeshen says that if you see the Levana during the weekday, you're allowed to delay and wait till Matzah Shabbos to do the mitzvah behiddur when you're wearing nice clothing, you're wearing Shabbos begadim. And the Steichemet asks a question on the Trumas Hadeshen, because in Rosh Hashanah it says you should not delay Hallel to do the mitzvah later with more people b'roivam. So we see Zrizus is better than Hiddur. So how could the Trumas Hadeshen say it's better to delay doing Kiddush Levana and do it behiddur? This is a famous halachic question. What's better, Hiddur mitzvah or Zrizus? Trumas Hadeshen seems to say you could delay a mitzvah for Hiddur. On the other hand, the Steichemet asks from the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah that we don't delay the recitation of Hallel for Hiddur. And the Rosh Yeshiva Rav Goldberg said a chidush based on Rav Baruch Ber. Rav Baruch Ber is quoted by the Berchas Avram in Masechta Pesachim that there are different kinds of mitzvahs. That there are some mitzvahs, they don't have any zman miyuchad. Kiddush Levana. You could do it once it's the third day after the Moilad, you could do it any time. I mean, yeah, you have 10 days to do it. There's no mitzvah to do it on the 4th day or the 5th day or the 6th day or the 7th day. So when it comes to a mitzvah that has no zman, there's no din of zrizin makdimin lemitzvahs. There's only a halacha of shehuye loy mashinan. You don't have to do it right away, but you're not supposed to delay it. Only a mitzvah that has a zman meyuchad, like Hallel. Hallel has to be said that day. If you don't say it that day, you lost it forever. Or Mila on the 8th day, it has to be on the 8th day. So a mitzvah that has a specific zman, there's an inyan of zrizos. A mitzvah that has no specific zman, there's no zrizos, there's just don't delay. Now it would come out that only when there's a din of zrizim akdim and lemitzvahs, like in Masechta Rosh Hashanah, then we say you have to do it bezrizos and push off the hiddur. that the zrizus is actually a maila in the etzem kiyama mitzvah. Since halal has to be on that day, zrizus becomes part of the mitzvah, as opposed to hiddur is just a factor of the manner with which you perform it. But a mitzvah that doesn't have a zman meyuchad, like in the case of the Trumas Hadeshim, like Kiddush Levana, that the whole Indian of zrizus of shuyeh mitzvah mashina, and then we say that it's better that you're allowed to do it behiddur. So says Rav Goldberg, we could explain as follows. And earlier in Ois Nun Zayin, the Rosh is talking about a mitzvah that you have a chiyuv to do at a certain time, like shofar, like lulav, where there's a mitzvah of zrizus, and zrizus it trumps even hiddur, and therefore the Rosh says shetei zorez lases kamashamuto alacha. Now we're talking about where the mitzvah comes your way, where you have a mitzvah, but it's not tolei in a zman mesuyam, sort of like Kiddush Levana. By the way, it's interesting. Ois Nun Daled talks about Kiddush Levana. He says, "Al tisatzel beberachas halvana." Don't delay. Don't be lazy in the bracha on the moon. Shem lo yizachu Yisrael ela lahakbel pnei shchina b'chol chodesh dayam. Because if Klal Yisrael would not be zoicha only to receive the shchina every month, that would be enough. So that's an example of a mitzvah where there's no inyan of zrizus per se. There's just a mitzvah of shehu eloi mashahinan. However, I would have just said, almost identical, that Ois Nun Gimel, it's not even talking about a mitzvah that doesn't have a specific zman. It's talking about a mitzvah comes your way. An ani is marrying off his daughter. When? In 3 months. So, okay, you have a very long time to do it. Or somebody needs something, or there's an opportunity of mitzvah, but it's not capped at all by zman. So then then we could say hiddur mitzvah is better than zrizus. It's just there's an inyan of shehuye mitzvah loy mishahinan. Now, one last point, namely, what does one thing have to do with the other? The Rosh says don't delay doing a mitzvah, and you should do it for the sake of heaven. What does not delaying a mitzvah got to do with not doing a mitzvah for ulterior motives? Perhaps I would say the whole Ois Nun Gimel is don't slacken off in mitzvahs. A, do it right away. B, don't allow your personal agenda to creep into the performance of the mitzvahs. Both of these things need a certain zerizus and energy to sort of A, do the mitzvah right away and block out your own personal ulterior motive. He quotes Rabbi Cheskel Sarna, who says that sometimes a person delays doing a mitzvah because he's in the middle of doing a different mitzvah. Let's say he's in the middle of doing something very deep in Torah. It's very hard to pull away from it. But the reason it's very hard to pull away from it is because the person has a personal benefit to get from that very deep Torah that he's learning. However, if a person does mitzvahs l'shem shamayim, then he won't have a difficult time pulling away from one mitzvah when another mitzvah comes his way, and that mitzvah requires his attention immediately. Okay, that completes Ois Nun Gimel. B'ez Hashem, next week we'll start with Ois Nun Daled. Everyone's welcome to join us for a fantabulous shir tonight at 8:30 on Chidushim Noiraim, on the 72 different names of Hashem. Brand new material. Hope everybody could join us tonight at 8:30. If anybody didn't get the Light and the Splendor on Tu B'Shvat, please make sure you get it before Tu B'Shvat so you know what the holy day is about. If anybody would like to participate in helping us with the next Sefer, the Concealed and the Revealed, if you would like your name to remain concealed, we will conceal it. If you would like your name to be revealed, we'll be happy to reveal it. Whatever you could do to help us out, we would appreciate it. Bracha v'atzlacha. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. Oh, sorry. We'll try to. I'll think about it. Let me evaluate that. Thanks. Okay. Kol tov. Bye bye.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.